What characteristics did the Essenes have, and why were they considered evil by some? ChatGPT said, the Essenes were a Jewish sect that flourished from the 2nd century BCE to the 1st century CE. They are best known through the accounts of ancient writers like Josephus, Philo, and Pliny the Elder, and more recently through the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are believed to be connected to them. The Essenes are not mentioned by name in the Bible, but some scholars believe that John the Baptist may have had Essene-like traits or connections. Characteristics of the Essenes: communal living. The Essenes practiced communal ownership of property and wealth. Everything was shared, and new members had to relinquish all personal possessions to the group. They lived in isolated communities, such as Qumran, near the Dead Sea, away from the cities. Ritual purity. They emphasized strict ritual purity, engaging in frequent baptism-like washings, possibly daily. Members followed detailed rules of cleanliness and purity, some of which mirrored priestly temple practices. Apocalyptic beliefs. The Essenes believed in an imminent end of the world where a final cosmic battle between the sons of light and sons of darkness would occur. They saw themselves as the righteous remnant who would survive and rule in God's restored kingdom. Strict law observance. They were extremely devout in their interpretation of the Torah, often more strict than Pharisees or Sadducees. The Essenes followed a solar calendar, which differed from the lunar calendar used in the Jerusalem temple. Celibacy. In some communities, many Essenes, especially at Qumran, practiced celibacy, though some Essene groups allowed marriage under strict guidelines. Hierarchical structure. The group was highly structured, with initiates, full members, and a council of elders. Decisions were made collectively but under the direction of priestly leadership. Opposition to the temple establishment. They considered the Jerusalem priesthood corrupt and the temple defiled. Many saw themselves as the true Israel and believed the temple would be rebuilt by divine intervention. Why were they considered evil by some? The Essenes were not universally condemned as evil, but they were viewed with suspicion or outright hostility by various groups for these reasons. Rejection of the temple and priesthood. Mainstream Jewish groups, especially the Sadducees, who controlled the temple, would have viewed the Essenes' rejection as heretical and rebellious. They saw the Essenes as divisive or even blasphemous for refusing to participate in temple sacrifices. Extremism and sectarianism. The Essenes saw themselves as the only righteous group, referring to others as the wicked. This elitism likely led to animosity from other Jewish sects, like the Pharisees, who were also popular among the people. Apocalyptic zealotry. Their apocalyptic worldview and belief in a violent final judgment may have seemed fanatical or dangerous, particularly to Roman authorities or more moderate Jews. Their isolationist stance could be interpreted as antisocial or subversive. Unorthodox practices. Their use of a solar calendar, alternative festivals, and interpretations of the law could be seen as deviant or heretical. By not supporting mainstream religious leadership, they may have been labeled as rebellious. Esoteric and mystical beliefs. The Dead Sea Scrolls reveal deep, mystical, even proto-Gnostic tendencies in some Essene texts. For example, focus on dualism, secret knowledge, angelology. These traits may have seemed occult or suspicious to some contemporaries. Roman perspective. Any sect with anti-establishment, messianic, or apocalyptic leanings, as the Essenes clearly had, would have been seen as potentially seditious by the Roman authorities. Final notes. Were they evil? The label of evil likely came from rival sects or political religious authorities who saw the Essenes as a threat to religious orthodoxy or political order, not because the Essenes themselves committed acts of cruelty. Some modern conspiracy or fringe theories, especially Gnostic, occult, or anti-institutional movements, may interpret the Essenes as either holy mystics or sinister cultists, depending on the lens used. If you're interested, I can break down their connection to John the Baptist, the teacher of righteousness, or comparisons with Freemasonry and secret societies in ancient Judea.